I wish to stress on the aspect, the behind the scenes of how the energy works, in a sense when it comes to attracting, repelling certain frequencies and vibrations. And so when a person wishes ill up onto another, your energetic vibration resonance, your energetic field, let's say the person, we don't want to take anything personally at this point. So for clarity, the person projecting that energy gets to charge it through his or her own feeling of that particular emotion onto another. So that emotion that gets charged, it charges his own magnetic field. We are all made of electrons. We are all electromagnetic beings. And therefore, what you are feeling, you are charging yourself. And what you are charging yourself up with is what you are going to attract it onto yourself, onto oneself. And the consciousness up on higher and higher and higher and higher dimensional levels exists to the universe at large, exists to serve, because we are all given free will. It serves to bring in more of what you feel. That is how the cosmos works, the energetic frequency works. So as you charge up certain frequencies, you are calling in more of those energies. And that is why, and that is how people that speak ill will upon others, they bring that into their own lives in a myriad of ways, different circumstances and situations. And I will also elaborate on when it comes to spell work. People think of spell work as some sort of hocus pocus, bibbidi bobbidi boop, witchcraft kind of elaborate schemes of, cursing people or blessing people for that matter. Those, whether with the elaborate procedure or whether it is through your thought or intention of your words or your energy, they are the same. In a sense, every time a person speaks ill will upon another or speaks over another person's circumstance, they are casting a spell. They are casting an energetic spell onto that person. And if that person, whoever listens to it, or if their energetic boundaries is not shielded, they receive that energetic frequency and then they emulate that. But the person who has casted such energy receives it more, tenfold. And so at this point of the situation, everybody loses. It is not uplifting. It's the crab in the barrel situation where one is rising up, the other is pulling down, everybody is down in the pits. And so as a collective, even when we criticize and judge even people at power, the governments and all the political leaders, if we are casting such energy onto them, but through criticism, we are just attracting it into the collective energy, such circumstances that we don't wish in the first place. So there's levels to it, but we will focus on our own personal, personal accountability of energy, because with great power comes great responsibility is a statement that we are all aware of. And for that matter, I want to bring in an insight that was shared by beloved Christ, Jesus the Christ, through his Christ letters. If you wish to read, if you haven't read, you can find the online copies, the PDF version, the electronic version, which is available for free to download. You can just Google Christ letters and you will find a link to download it. So in this letters, he speaks of a particular situation where he spoke of the other spectrum of energy, because we are all aware that he was a healer. He is a healer, and he helped people overcome grievances through the power of his energy, of his intention, of his will, through the I am presence, the highest frequency presence, because the highest frequencies manifest at a much faster rate. Yet, on the other side of it, the more you rise up in frequency, we also have to be aware that if we use that particular energy in a destructive way, or in a unintentionally at times, if we express certain energy onto people, places, even circumstances, then there's consequences for it. So he speaks of a particular instance where he had, this was right the events leading up to his crucifixion, and in that moment, in a space, there was a particular instance where he was starving, and he already knew the incoming events that was going to happen. He was aware of it, and there was the humanness in him was going through the fear as well of going through certain ordeals, and in a state of hunger. The phrase that we use, the modern idiom that we use, hangry, when you're hungry and you get angry. So he was hungry. There was all of this chaos that was going around, and there was a fig tree where he was hoping to find fruits, the fig fruit, to fill his hunger to eat. And he, upon arriving to that spot of the tree, he realized there was no fruit on the tree, and in anger, in that reactive state of chaos of the situation, he cursed the tree, so to speak. In a sense, he projected the anger upon the tree, and because he was carrying such high frequency and elevation, when he used it in a destructive way, unintentionally, he came to realize that the tree had withered. The tree withered within a very quick, short moment of time. And so, point being, we are each responsible for accountable for our own energies. And he brought this to light for us to be able to bring everything in perspective when it comes to energy, and how we ought to focus on our own personal journey with accountability. And so this is just a story, an insight that I wanted to add. And today we will bring this discussion, this sharing with a practical elaboration. So let's say that there is an energetic projection from another, and you have received the energetic resonance, and you have reacted to it, and therefore you have a layer of energy upon, let's just say, your being. Then the neighbor from down the street projected some he was having a rough day, and he projected some irritation upon you, and you snapped at him, and there went down your the frequency that you have raised up during your, the fruits of your early morning meditation went down the drain because of his actions. And so you have piled up another layer of, well, this can look very pretty, but when it comes to energy, the example that we're using, not very pretty energies that we're speaking of currently. And so you return home, and one of your family members is having a rough day, and you get into a sort of cat fight of energetic exchange, which apparently seemingly has nothing to do with you, but then you already have all of this junk up here, and then the other person also has gone through the drill of attracting, capturing, accumulating other people's energy, and therefore you have another one on here. And so as you're just having your midday coffee, you receive an email from a long lost friend with some subtle nuance, a sly remark putting you down, and you react to it, and boom, you have another layer because you have reacted to it and you've allowed yourself to get entangled in that mess. And so on and on and on, these situations and instances upon life goes with layers upon layers. And in time, we're just, this is all within a 24 hours period of time. Trust me, if we don't clear our energies even for a day, this is how much debris we collect. Once more, by the time you are having your dinner, there is another, you watch you scroll through your social media, and you see some people speaking and projecting something which is not as per your own perception, and so you get triggered, and therefore you send them out some energy that says, who the hell are you, and who the heck, and whatnot. There you go, one more. And on and on and on and on. My goodness, by the time you sleep, by the time you're brushing your teeth, you remember something from down the line of some 10 years ago, which you saw the toothbrush, and you remembered one of your college mates mentioning something about the toothbrush, and then you remember that person throwing some negative energy, and then you hope that this person has learned his lesson, and there one more. And on and on and on. And on top of that, as you go to sleep, you don't have energy. I'm trying not to look at myself in the camera right now, but this is for a cause. So I don't mind looking like the fool. Do you know the court jester, the court jester in history of all kingdoms had to allow themselves to be in certain situations just to drive home a point? Today I am the court jester, just to drive home a point. So as you go to sleep, you perhaps you pray or you meditate, or perhaps you don't, because you are so irritated that now you are not in a state of mind to, it's a bit hot. Okay. you're not in the right state to pray or meditate, and therefore you have sealed the nail in the coffin with, let's just say, to wrap it all up with a bubble wrap. A bubble wrap, airtight, air packed, where all of the energetic debris that you've collected, it gets deeper and deeper. Oh my goodness, let me just fix this. And now what happens is that because of all this accumulation of debris, you yourself are now getting angry at your own state of beingness, which is the worst layer of energetic debris. So there we go. Now, with all of this going on, how are we going to have inspired action, inspired light bulb moment, eureka moment from the universe? Because the universe is filled of divine intelligent energies that are just floating around in space. You know, this symbolism that we have, that we call that light bulb moment, the eureka moment, or however which way, those moment comes, it gets filtered into our consciousness when our state of mind is clear to receive divine inspiration. But when we have all of these layers, forget about rising in our frequency and evolving, even the mere mundane activities gets blocked because we have all of this going on. And so even if Thor's hammer, this is for now, this is Thor's hammer. Even if the hammer of the truth or the lightning hammer comes and strikes with all its might, if Thor comes as the divine messenger wanting to give you an inspired action, inspired idea for an inspired action for the fulfillment of your purpose and your journey, even if the hammer of Thor comes and strikes, how is this going to get through all of those layers? So I shall rest my case here by just really wanting to motivate and encourage the purpose of keeping our energetic clear and clean by having a state of detachment from other people's energies, keeping your energetic boundaries up, and most importantly, keeping your energetic frequency light of your own workings of the mind. The mind is here to actually be in the subservient role, in a sense. The heart has to lead. The mind follows to execute what the heart feels, not the other way around. But when our energy is messed up and entangled, the mind likes to take control because they feel, there's something wrong with this system, the internal system, let me take over, and that is the ego taking over. And so we sometimes tend to get off track, and then we open cycles. That is unnecessary. Speaking of cycles, you can watch my previous video if you are looking forward to integrating certain cycles, and the finishing move that we call it is what I elaborate in my previous video. So on this note, I shall end my sharing, and I hope to come and share with you a divinely inspired message when I'm guided to do so. I wish you well, and we wish everyone well in this world. We wish the best for everyone, and if we are not in that space to wish the best for everyone, that is still okay. That is still okay. It's a process. Sometimes we have so much pent up anger with how life has treated us that sometimes we just don't want to wish anybody and everybody well at the point of our journey, and that is also okay, because the most important thing is we ought not to judge ourselves or another. We just accept, embrace, try as much to remain detached even with our own experiences. Just think of it as an experience that we are choosing to have upon this earth school, and we always try to rise up higher so we are able to see the bigger picture of what that particular instance or that person has been brought out into our lives to teach us. Because everybody and anything that happens in our life comes as a lesson and a blessing. And the lessons are the most important blessings. You will see. Blessed be. Blessings unto you. Bye.